So in this tutorial we're going to have a look at how to connect two EV3 bricks together by Bluetooth so that we can use them together as in a relay race, or use one to remotely control another. But the first thing we need to do is pair them. So I've got two robots here. This one's called red and this one's called blue. It's a good idea to plug it in to your computer by USB and actually change the name. To pair the robots, you need to go across to the right hand most menu and come down to Bluetooth, and just check that Bluetooth is turned on and visibility is turned on. So you need those two tick boxes. That needs to be done on both of these, of course. So you'll see I've got that set up on here as well. And then on one of them we'll go to connections. The very first time we're going to connect these together we need to search. So we'll do a search. And you need to wait a few seconds for this. Okay, and eventually you'll find the other brick. So this one's found blue, so I'll select that and I'll choose connect. And now we need just to approve the connection on both of these. So we go through to both and they come up with a pass key, and I'll accept both of these, just leave it as the default. And now they're both connected, and that's all we need to do to pair them. And so from now on this brick actually will know about blue and we'll be able to connect to blue directly, either by selecting it from the favorites and then choosing connect, so it won't need to do that search again, or I'll show you a clever thing here in the software. We can actually use this Bluetooth connection, and this will initiate a connection, and we only need to initiate it from one of them. So this is the program relay 1. This is the program I'm going to run on the red EV3 brick. And it will initiate the connection with blue if the connection isn't already initiated. For example, after we've just turned on the EV3 bricks. That's only available if they've previously been paired. Okay, so let's have a look at this program more generally. So this first block is just turning on the Bluetooth connection. That's a bit redundant because it's already connected, but I just thought it was kind of cool that you can have it turn on the Bluetooth automatically if you like, just to make sure that it is turned on. And then we're going to have the robot go forward until it sees an object, and then it will stop. And this is the main new thing that we're showing here, is it sends a Bluetooth message. So that was from the blue advanced tab down here, the messaging block. Your message has to have a title. I've just left it as the default ABC. You decide where you're sending it to, so the EV3 brick that is going to be receiving the message, and then the text of the message is go. You could alternatively send a number or a boolean, so a logic, so true false, but we're just sending a text message in this case which says go. And so this program will be on red, and for the receiving brick I've got this program which just has a wait block at the start, and it's waiting till it receives a text message. So it was messaging compare text. The message title, again, I've left as the default ABC. If you changed it in the other program you'll need to change it here as well. And it's waiting till it receives a message that equals go, at which point it will drive forward, and it will drive forward until it sees an object, and then it will stop. So this is going to be like a relay race where one robot will drive across till it sees something, and then it will make the other robot move. Let's try it out. Okay, so now I'm going to run relay 2 on the second robot. So I've got that running first, so it's sitting there waiting till it gets the signal, and when I'm ready I will start the program on relay 1, start relay 1 on the red EV3, and here we go. So this will go forward until it sees the obstacle over there. It will stop and then send a message to this one, which will then go forward until it sees an obstacle and stop, hopefully. Okay, so that's all well and good. So then the next thing to do is to have a go at that, but then also try making a remote control. So this remote control program is on the red brick, and I've got the remote car program running on my blue brick. Let's have a look at each of these. So remote control, what it does, again, it turns on Bluetooth, establishes the connection to blue if it's not already established, and then inside this loop what it's doing is it's reading the value of its rotation sensor, so the motor rotations. It's then feeding that into a message, but this time like before, but a couple of things are different here. One is I'm using the message title, capital B, meaning this is going to be the motor speed for motor B, and I'm setting it to blue, of course, and I have to send a numeric this time because I want to number the value of the rotation sensor, and the power at the other end are going to be numbers, so I'm sending a numeric value. Then I do the same thing for motor C, so I'm taking the values on the B and C motors, reading them as rotations on the red EV3 robot, and then I'm just going to wait a tenth of a second so I'm not flooding the Bluetooth messaging. That'll be plenty enough, and then we'll go through the loop again, and we'll take another set of readings and send those, and we'll just keep doing that forever. So that's going to be our remote control, and on the receiving end I've turned on Bluetooth, same as before, and this time I've set up two separate loops, and each loop, what it's going to do is it's going to read the value, and then for testing purposes I'm displaying the value that's received, and that just is a way of confirming what values are being received by the EV3 brick. But you don't actually need that for the remote control to work. It's just easier to fix problems if they happen. But then I'm also taking that received message and I'm sending it to the motor. Now it's worth doing it this way, where we're waiting for a message, and then once we've received the message then we do something with it, because if we just kept going and checking the messages sitting in B, it'll just keep reading zeros when there's nothing there. So we're better off waiting till we've received a message and then doing something about it. So we'll do that separately for B, and we'll do it separately for the C motor as well. So let's have a look at that. Okay, so I've got the car running on here, and you might be able to see it's actually flashing the zeros there because it's receiving zeros. And then as I move the motors on red, makes blue go. I can make it go forwards or backwards, or left or right. If I stop this running, the receiving robot's not getting any new signals, so it's just keeping the motors going with the same values that it had before. So you can make the remote control a bit more sophisticated, so there's a reset button, so there's so that if it's not getting a signal at all, it times out and stops moving. There are all sorts of sophisticated things you could do. You could send messages back the other way, so you could be getting sensor readings that come up on the remote control. There's a lot of fun you can do with this. There's no reason why the remote control needs to look like a car either, so you can end up with something that looks like this. Here's a remote control that I used for an event not so long ago, and I had an arm that would lift up and down, controlled by this button. I also at one stage had another button that could reset the robot, but that was getting a bit too confusing for people. You'll notice I've got the buttons covered, and that was so that when it was running, people couldn't interfere with the program on here and stop it running. But I could get into it easily enough. So you can make your own remote control unit if you like. There's a lot of fun you can have with this sort of challenge. See how you go.